Good morning. It's 5 o'clock in the morning and we are on the banks of the Mississippi River. This is a treasure hunting video and we're going to spend all day mudlarking. Mudlarking in the USA. You hear those gunshots? In the rural Midwest, when you hear gunshots, you don't even think twice. It doesn't mean anything. And that's why it's nice to live here. How you doing, friends? Breakfast is cooking, the sun is rising over the Mississippi, and today we're going mudlarking. It's not popular in the US because unlike Europe, we don't have 2,000 years worth of history on the river. However, I did find a place that's loaded with local history. Today, we're going after it. So the idea behind this mudlarking business is to walk the shore of the river and see if you can find those things that treasure hunters love. If you're in a good spot, there'll be a bunch of it. It's all treasure. Let me show you what I found in 5 minutes. So the key to finding a good mudlarking spot is, number one, see if you can find some thick glass. If you find glass that's way too thick to be modern, you're in a good spot. So here's some of the things that I just found. Look, Clorox. When's the last time that Clorox was in a glass jar? Okay. Here's carbon from an old battery. Here's a rod. No. Here's a valve. It's a valve from an old engine. There's beautiful things as well. I like to collect these. Here's some blueware. Christmas lights, you always find those. I don't know why. I do know why, actually. And you may find stuff that you would recognize, you know, from your great grandmother's house. Blueware and different types of pottery. It's all treasure. Here's a nice piece of pottery. In mudlarking, anything that's not glass you call pottery. So I keep this stuff because it's got a design on it, and people who make art would want something like this because there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. So this is a keeper. You never know what you're gonna find. You got to keep your eyes out. That looks like an old crock, doesn't it? Here's some kind of striking tool. It has an octagon side to it, like a faced side. So that's pretty old. I think it's like a combination hammer and hatchet. Now the main thing that you find out here in mudlarking is broken glass and pottery. But there's also history. What is that? And this is what gets me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's getting my hands on history. This shell right here has a bunch of holes in it. That's historical. At one time, this was somebody's livelihood. What they would do back in the 1800s is they would have these boats that would go across this river and collect these clamshells. And people would take them to factories and drill out disc. So somebody would spend 10 hours of their day drilling disc out of this shell, and the disc would go to a factory and be polished and ground into pearl buttons. And it was somebody's job to decide how many discs you could get out of each shell. You didn't want to try to get too many, because then the quality of the disc would go down because it'd be too thin and you'd get less money. And so this is history. Here's a brick. This could have came from a factory of that period. Here's a piece of pottery. That's pretty gaudy. You think that's turn of the century? I brought along this bottle to show you. I found this on another trip, but this is from the 1800s. It's got this embossing on it that says Rock Island, Illinois, which is not far from here. And so the person who did this all day and worked in this factory probably drank ginger ale out of a blob top bottle just like this. And that's what's so beautiful about mudlarking, is putting the history together and just experiencing what it was like. It's awesome. The key to finding nice bottles is to find first these cork tops. There's a million of them out here. They're broken. The cork fit in there. And after you find these, and you know you're in the right area, then you look for mud. Because in order for the bottle to survive and not be broken, it probably had to be buried in mud. And it's always fun. It's like Christmas time. Like, is this bottle gonna be whole? You know, 95% of the time it's a broken bottle. But sometimes you pull out a beautiful 1800s bottle out of the mud, and it's a great feeling. Here's some more 1800s garbage here. See, I've got all these shells with the holes drilled out. I also found this button right here. I wonder if this is one of those pearl buttons. See, it's kind of like the shape that would fit in there. See that? Yeah. Is that a pearl button? We've got a collection of items here. This is a thick piece of glass. It looks kind of like a funnel shape. I think this might have been some kind of candle holder maybe. It has writing on it. Corp of America, Juan PR. Mason jar lid. These are a dime a dozen. There's a million of these out here. I thought that this might be a syringe, like an old glass syringe, but it's got a little piece of wire in it, like a filament. So I'm thinking that this might be a really early light bulb. Very delicate and beautiful. All right, here's some more stuff that I found out here. Marbles. Marbles are big. You always see them out here. I think what happens is people used to put them in like jars and stuff as decorations, and then they got thrown out, and now they're all over the river. Here's another candle holder. That's a pretty color. It's got bubbles in the glass. That means it's pretty old. And here's a clue as to why there was so much glass out here. This is like a ring. I think you call it a breeching ring, a harness ring, and it's from horses. From back in the day when there was horses going up and down this road. You never wanted glass in the road. Glass was really bad for horses, so you would take your glass and throw it out by the river. There'd be no horses down there. Here's a head stamp that came from a shotgun. That's an old paper shotgun shell. Now it has writing on it, markings, so we can definitely figure out what decade that came from. And this is some kind of brass grommet. My hand really hurts. There was an incident this morning where I wasn't paying attention to the fire and I had a grease fire, a flare-up. In any case, this is what these zinc carbon batteries looked like. There's the carbon core, and all of this is zinc, and it was surrounded by paper. So whenever zinc touches carbon, carbon tries to steal electrons from zinc. Zinc lets the electrons go. And if you wire it right, if you take advantage of that, you can create electrical current. So this is an electrochemical reaction. Now this is old technology. You can still buy these batteries, by the way. They sell them at the dollar store and they call them super duty batteries, meaning not really super duty. Okay, now this is awesome. I love this. It's a cork top medicine bottle, and it's got graduations here. I'll clean this up later, but this is like the big fish of mudlarking. If you find this, you're pretty happy. So this one little bottle made the trip for me. Here's more pearl buttons. Pottery. Teal colored. Blueware. That's cool. I could have used this morning. I'm out there trying to stir my breakfast over a hot fire with a plastic spoon. This bottle is broken, but it looks like a cork top. Let's dig it out. Very nice. I just dug this out of the bank up there. It looks like a cork top medicine bottle. Metal detecting is really hard out here, and the reason why is because of this right here. Year after year, wood washes up on shore and then decomposes and then leaves nails everywhere. So just all up and down the Mississippi River from Illinois all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, nails. Here's some more of that jadeite stuff. I like that. That would look good in a project. Yeah. I'm all out of battery. So that's mudlarking in the United States. There's no telling what you'll find. So check out your local river. If you see big pieces of glass, you're in business. More treasure.